Hello and welcome to Crafty Concepts with Erin. Today I have a scrapbook layout for you, and I'm just using up all these leftover chevron pieces from a layout I did last week. So I pulled this photo and my friend is wearing a shirt that kind of matches that cardstock. So that's as far as my plan has gone, and I just am going to come up with this as we go. And I know I want to use the rickrack little chevron pieces at the bottom to kind of create a border. So I have this card I made, and I like the black and white with that glacier color. I just think it's a really nice mix of colors there. So I have this black and white polka dot pattern paper left over from the Craft On collection. So I'm just going to trim this down to size. And I really like the black and white polka dots. They're just kind of fun and kind of a playful pattern. But I'm feeling like it's not really standing out well. It just needs a little something. So I decided to bring in some black cardstock to mat that polka dot paper just to kind of anchor it and give it some presence. And you'll see when I get it adhered there that it does make a big difference. So we'll go ahead and get this tacked down. That was a fun flower paper too. I hated to cover it up, but that's okay because you get 2 sheets in each of the collections. So I do have more of that for another layout. So I'm just going to get this tacked down to my Versamat so it's not sliding around on me. And I was thinking of originally doing that as kind of a 9x9 square, but I did need to make it a little bit longer to extend past the bottom of my chevron border. So I'm just matting my main photo here on some scrap of black cardstock. You can see I kind of cut some words out of that, but no one will know as it's behind the photo. And then we can get our border back on there. And I'm not really sure, I feel like it needs something. So this layout, I used that thistle color and it looked really nice. So I thought maybe I'll bring that color in here. And this is the November Family Time stamp of the month. And I'm going to use those 2 flower elements to embellish this page. So you can get this stamp of the month for $5 with your qualifying purchase. If you're interested, I'll leave the information in the description below, so be sure and check that out as it is only a promotion for the month of November. So what I'm doing now is just stamping a few of the floral images on some scraps of white daisy with my black pigment ink. And because this is a wet pigment ink, you can use it for embossing. So I'm just coating these in the clear embossing powder, which will give it a nice shiny finish. So I'll get a few of these done here. I'm going to be cutting these out, so I'll just get a few done on camera. I never get tired of watching the embossing powder do its thing. I just think it's such a neat scrapbooking tool, and it just adds such a nice finishing touch in the end. It's well worth the little extra effort. So now I'm just cleaning off my stamp because I'm going to switch it to the thistle ink. Now this is not a pigment ink, and so the embossing powder wouldn't stick to it, but I'm going to use the second layer here with my black ink, and the embossing powder will stick to that. And I got it off center a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to cut these out and you won't be able to tell. So there's also this little floral sprig included in the stamp set, and I'm going to just stamp a couple of these and I'll add them to my flower clusters. So I have all my embellishments cut out here, and I'm going to kind of do a mirrored image on the lower and upper corner there. And I have this little scrap from the I Heart Us collection, and then I'm going to use my frames to cut out this stitched rectangle die, and we will use that on the other side, and they'll just kind of balance each other there on the top of the photo, and then just loosely cluster my embellishments for now. So I have this. This was the Random Act of Kindness, which was a stamp of the month a couple months ago. But since this layout is about a girls' day I had with my friends, I thought that this "Lucky to have a friend like you" would be a really nice sentiment to use for this page. So I'm stamping that just to kind of practice because it's a new stamp and I hadn't used it yet. So it looks like it's stamping perfectly. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this cut down here. And I end up not really too sure how I like this on the page. You'll see it looks okay, but I just thought, yeah, it's kind of just there. And I don't know, I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I decide to cut it into strips, and this way I can kind of stagger it and make it more, have a little bit more volume and presence on the page here. It probably would have been easier to use my scissors, but I wanted to make sure everything was straight, so I'm using my paper cutter. And I'm just separating these out. I am removing the word friend, and I'm going to add that back in with a different font that I cut on my Cricut. This is from defont.com, and I believe it's the Hello font. So I'm just going to stagger the lucky and then to have a and then friend like you. So I really like the way it looks when you mix and match the fonts like that, and you can see it just has a lot more oomph than the original rectangle that it was in. So these are the vellum complements from the Every Little Thing collection, and I'm just adding these to my floral clusters. I like the way the vellum adds a nice contrast. And then there's these butterflies that I thought would look nice on the layout, so we'll add a few of those kind of scattered about the page. These are such pretty little vellum shapes, and it's almost like you stamped on the vellum and cut it out, but they've already done the work for you. So I felt like the title wasn't standing out enough, so I'm just kind of doodling little lines around the edge, and you can see that makes a big difference. It just kind of defines it against that black and white polka dot background. So I'm just taking my journaling pen and just literally tracing around the outside edge there. Nothing fancy, but it does add a lot of detail, and like I said, helps that to stand out. So I'll go ahead and get these glued down, and I'm going to use my liquid glass with a fine tip applicator for these teeny tiny little embellishments, and I'm just gluing down the bottom half. It's okay if the top half can kind of lift off the page there, that's fine. It'll be secure just gluing the bottom half, and then I don't have to worry about the liquid glass kind of seeping out around the elements there where it's visible. So then I'm going to put the center flower popped up on dimensional foam, so it'll kind of sit above those black flowers there. And I'm just putting adhesive on the little black center of the butterfly's body. That way you won't see it through the vellum. So this is a photo of a couple friends and I, and we just went down to the annual Cowgirl Luncheon, and it's just a really fun fundraiser where all the cowboys basically wait on all the ladies and serve them lunch, and there's an auction and just all sorts of fun raffle prizes, and it's a really fun day. So we just had a girls' day out and went down there and snapped this picture. And I wish there were more photos of the day, but we were too busy having fun to take pictures. So this is the only one. But sometimes you only need one photo to tell the story behind an event. So I feel like I need a little something in the center of those flowers. So I just have some of the silver glitter gems from my stash here, and I'm just kind of adhering those to the center just to kind of finish it off. And I have this heart that I had left over. It's from the heart pattern stamp in our stitched heart dies. And I know I don't have any other hearts on the page, but it was stamped in the thistle color and I saw it sitting there and I just thought it would finish the layout off nicely. So it creates this nice diagonal line all the way through just to help lead your eye. And I'm going to just tie it in with one more butterfly down here. And now I'll finish it off with a little doodly line around the whole outside of the layout. And this layout's kind of fun because I literally pulled elements from 4 different collections: the I Heart Us, Craft On, Every Little Thing, and the Complete Creativity. And I really like how it turned out. And so I was able to utilize leftovers from previous collections and put this together to create something new. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next week. For more information, you can visit my blog at craftyconceptswitherin.com. Here's another video you might enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.